In Expedition 33 there are many hidden rooms and hidden items. Today, however, we want to focus on the boss enemies that you can optionally defeat and that are sometimes very well hidden. Today I'll show you all the well hidden boss enemies in the game. Of course, only the well hidden ones, since some of them are very easy to find. So let's get started with this guide. I'd appreciate it if you give a thumbs up, and I'll show you boss enemies that you can optionally defeat and that you might have missed. If you've followed my platinum guide, then of course you've already taken care of all of these. So have fun with it. In Act 2 there are already some well hidden boss enemies which I'm going to show you now. In Act 2 you should definitely go back here to the back left corner. There you'll already find the first hidden boss enemy, and you can get one of the strongest attacks for Monoco here. So make sure to add him to your party, and you'll also find a hidden merchant here where we can get an outfit for Ciel. Then you go further back into the corner here, and that's where you'll find the hidden boss enemy who will also give Monoco the Danseuse foot. We can reach the next hidden boss enemy once we can swim, so also in Act 2, and he's located back here on the island. You don't need to fly for this. You can simply swim over here, and here we'll find another hidden boss enemy, which we can of course go in and fight. And this fellow is already quite strong and actually rather difficult to defeat in Act 2, but he also gives you a completely new weapon as a reward, and back here you can even collect a unique Lumina color as well. You can already visit the next hidden boss enemy in Act 1. However, you should only go there in Act 2 to the Blood Red Forest, because in the Blood Red Forest there's a boss enemy who will first demand quite a bit of money from you, but here you can go in and make a donation at the well. Once you've done that and thrown enough money in here, a new hidden boss enemy will spawn, and he'll even give you some nice items. So keep tossing your chroma into the pot, but don't do it too early, because chroma gets pretty scarce towards the end if you don't farm it, and here you'll get, well, a new boss enemy to spawn. You'll also get the new Pictos recovery, which is of course quite good as well. Also in Act 1 you can reach the Abbest cave. However, you should only go there once you're in Act 2, because the boss inside is pretty tough, but the cave is easy to miss if you forget about it. So make sure to go in here fairly early, because there's a very good Pictos here that will make your life a lot easier, especially if you have First Strike equipped on your character. That's actually a really good combination. With it, you'll deal 50% more damage. The boss is already quite tough in Act 2, but can be defeated easily. Once you've defeated the chromatic Abbest, you'll receive the aforementioned Pictos. If you've obtained enormous First Strike for the Pictos and combine it with the Pictos First Strike, you'll always deal 50% more damage at the start of battle with your first attack, as long as the enemy doesn't act first. So it's a very good Pictos that you should try to get relatively early. Otherwise we move on and eventually arrive in Haute Lumière, and here you should definitely go back in again if you've already completed the level. So finish Haute Lumière completely once, and after you've come out on the other side you should definitely go back to Haute Lumière again. The level has now changed a bit here, and if we start from the checkpoint entrance we can find a hidden boss enemy here. By the way, there's also a Pantomime in this level. Of course that's also shown in the Platinum guide, but for now let's focus on the hidden boss enemy. So from the entrance we just fly straight ahead, past this big sword, and then we come back down here. Yes, down here there's a corridor that goes to the right, and here you'll find a new checkpoint and also the hidden boss. So head over here, save your game, and with this boss you can also farm Lumina and weapon upgrades really well, friends. This is the best farming spot for Lumina. However, if you've already defeated the boss, you won't be able to fight him again. So go into the boss fight, and here it's also important that you don't defeat the main boss himself, but always focus on his, well, clones, so you can keep farming Lumina there. because every clone you defeat gives you 1 Lumina, and the more clones you take out in this fight, which he keeps projecting anew, the more Lumina you can farm here. It's important that you don't defeat the one in the middle who keeps spawning the clones. And if you keep the fight going long enough and defeat around 100 clones, you'll end up with 200 Lumina by the time you finish the fight. So this is really the best farming spot for Lumina. Of course, you can only do this once, so make sure to take full advantage of it. Once you've got the rhythm down, keep taking out the clones and then finish off the main boss at the very end. If you want more, just keep defeating clones to farm Lumina from them. Once you've defeated the boss, you'll also receive the Pictos catch-up perk, which is pretty good because it lets you act immediately after being revived, and of course it can be combined well with other Pictos perks. As you continue through the story, you'll eventually reach the monolith, and you should definitely go back in here even if you've already completed the monolith. Specifically, go back to the spot where we fought the painter. There we go through the portal and end up here at the monolith summit, and if we've already completed the level, a new boss will spawn here afterwards, which we can of course also defeat. This boss has a very good Pictos for us, namely the one with combo attack 2, which we definitely want to have. So just walk through here and you'll find the hidden boss, allowing you to get the Pictos and combine it with the combo attack Pictos, which basically lets you attack 3 times with the standard attack. So just go in here and defeat the chromatic Clair Obscur, and you'll receive combo attack 2 as a reward, which we can of course combine with combo attack 1. Of course, you can also return to Gestraldorf at any time, fight the chief there once, and if you defeat him, you'll get a weapon for each character. And the chief is actually a woman, and her name is Golgra. And as mentioned, if you defeat her, you'll receive a special weapon for each character. It's important that you've already obtained Miles' weapon at the tournament beforehand. Otherwise, make sure to go in with Mile here to get her best weapon. When we reach Act 3 and can finally fly, there are some hidden boss enemies on the map, and the first one is right down here. This one is pretty easy, so you should pay him a visit and show him right away who the real boss on the map is. So fly over here, take care of the guy, and of course you'll get a nice reward. Here you'll get the new weapon for Looney and can put it to good use. You'll find the next secret boss here on the continent, so you should definitely fly over there as well. This one isn't too difficult either. You can actually land here between these rocks. There's a small landing spot here, plus there are some nice things to pick up here. That's why you should definitely go inside. You'll find some Pictos here, as well as other great items like a new weapon, but especially Kraftvolles Gepanzert is very good. And there's a Picto you absolutely should learn for your team, which you'll also need at the end. You'll also get a foot for Monoco here, which is always great, of course. Remember to pick up the Picto in the corner here as well, which is lying behind the crates. Be sure to grab that one too once you've defeated the boss here. Let's move on and find the next secret boss on the map, which is actually right in this area, specifically on this small elevation. You can simply fly over to that spot and you'll also find a diary right here, which is actually pretty important for earning the trophy. Land here, pick up the diary, and then carefully take out the enemies one by one, making sure not to miss anyone at all. There's also some chroma hidden in the crate at the back. So make sure to grab the diary for the trophy and defeat the boss here and pick up a bit more chroma. Additionally, we get the Pictos upgrade Armored for Longer here. There's also a secret boss at this location, which you should definitely pay a visit to if you're already nearby. However, they are a bit more challenging again. You'll find them down here on the island, and previously we couldn't get there because we couldn't reach it by swimming, but now we can land here and take out the next boss, who, as mentioned, is a bit more difficult. Of course, you should always check what level you are, but go ahead and head in here to take care of those guys. Once we've done that, we get the Pictos Risky parry, which isn't all that great, but of course we'll take it anyway. We find the next boss on this small island in this little green area, so let's fly over there as well. This one is already quite strong and can take out your party pretty easily, especially at the beginning. If necessary, make a note of this boss and come back later to get the weapon upgrade here. And of course we can then continue with the next boss, which you can find here on the map. And that's a small floating island in the sky. You'll need to land there briefly. The boss is on this island and he can be quite tough, so only go there once you're really well upgraded and defeat the boss here to get another hidden Pictus. Additionally, you can get a foot from him and make the Pictus burn for longer, which is a very good Pictus. And you should definitely learn that one and equip it to your team. Otherwise, let's move on, and of course we can defeat the dragon here, which we can already see from a distance as it flies around. And you should take it down fairly quickly as well, because it has a very good Pictus that will really help you a lot. If Mael already has her final attack, the dragon shouldn't be a problem, and here you'll get the Pictus Master of Energy, which always gives you 1 extra AP whenever you increase your AP. You'll also receive a trophy here. That's why you should take it down as quickly as possible, because the Pictus is extremely good and perfectly suited for all team members. We then fly further back into this area, where we find another chromatic enemy that of course we want to defeat as well, and that's this black guy here, who in my opinion looks a bit like a samurai. In any case, let's take this guy down and we'll get a nice reward for it. But his very first attack is actually quite powerful, so make sure you're already properly upgraded here, otherwise he might wipe out your entire group in one go. Once you've defeated him, you'll receive a new weapon, Benisseur, and of course we'll take that with us and pack it up. It's a new weapon for Lumina. Otherwise we can fly up around the corner here. There we'll find another small island in the sky with a hidden enemy. Everything looks pretty nasty here, but the enemy is of course unique and you shouldn't miss him. So fly up here and attack him and you'll get another nice reward. Here you'll receive the anti-infected Pictus, which is immune to infection, which is pretty good. You can also pick up a Monoco foot here. Very close by you can also find the chromatic Petank, which you can see here at the back of the map. And there it roams around the continent, and of course you have to send it back to its station. I'll quickly show you how it's done. Just lure it over here and send it across the water to the other island. So just follow the path here, go straight ahead and keep going, and then you'll get it over here into this alley and you can push it further across and it will basically walk through the water and come over here. Here at the water you need to be a bit careful to make sure you push it in the right direction. I think there are several ways to do it, but we'll push it over here, then across here, and then towards this small opening, and that's exactly where we need to push it in. So just be a bit careful to make sure you push it right into here. And then we can push it over here and all the way through to the end. That's where its station is located. Be careful that it doesn't run away again. It always tries to get away a bit faster, but otherwise you can just push it over here and it will be in its station. You can fight and defeat it here and you'll also get a trophy for that. Be sure to go in here and focus only on the boss, taking care of the small ones just a little on the side. When you've defeated the chromatic Petank, you'll get the Pictos anti-stun, which makes you immune to being stunned, as well as the trophy. Otherwise, let's continue. And here on the map, in this small bay, we find the strongest mime. We should definitely land here at the Sunless Cliffs, and there you can also get the skinhead outfit for every character, so basically everyone ends up bald. Depending on which character you defeat him with, you can of course defeat him with all characters. You'll get the bald look for that character each time, and it does look pretty funny, I have to say. So just walk all the way through the cave here. There's nothing else to collect here. Just go to the red portal at the back and defeat the mime to get this outfit. And then we can go inside accordingly. Of course, you always fight one-on-one here, so you can use Pictos, which make you strong as a solo fighter, and that way you can easily defeat the mime. You get the Pictos here, the last point. It's not particularly good, but for some builds it's actually quite suitable. But this Pictos is very specialized. For example, I've never used it myself, but what's funny is that here you definitely get the skinhead outfit for every character, so you can give any character a bald head. And yeah, with that your team already looks pretty funny. For example, I did the whole thing once again with Verso, and of course you can also give him a completely bald head as well if you want. Alright friends, that's basically it for now with the hidden boss enemies. We've shown quite a lot of optional boss enemies, but of course there's still a special boss enemy you can find, namely in Renoir's designs. That's the strongest boss in the game, and of course that's Simon. And if you can't beat him, I've prepared a complete guide for you on how to defeat Simon. So head into the abyss and face the strongest boss, and once you've done that, you've basically completed all the challenges and can easily finish the game. Have fun in Expedition 33. For me, it's one of the best titles of the year, if not of the past few years. It definitely made its way into my top 10, so many thanks to the developers, and thank you all for watching. See you next time.